Okay, I really want to put a bookmark in this video because I'm gonna have to keep reminding myself. It's like, it's like I've always said before, I should get tattoos or something because, um, you just keep. It's a new minute. It's always the same moment, and yet it's new. And whatever thread of grace or universal willpower or whatever it is, it can kind of fall away, and then it's just like you're like a babe dropped in the woods, and it's like, what do I orient to? And so, in those moments, it will be helpful to have something to try to orient to. So, but of course, that kind of changes as things progress. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, it's always the same idea, right? This is it. You're here. This is. If you know, you know, and if you don't, I can't. I really, really, really wish I could just put it in a pill. But it's such a deeply personal journey. I wouldn't take it away from anyone either. So unexpected in so many ways. I mean, like, you literally cannot expect. It's always in some place where it's like, so it's always the last place you look. I mean, yeah. Anyway, if there's one thing to orient to now, it is don't let your feelings make your decisions. By that I mean there's so many things that I tend not to do because some little sensation shows up in my body, and I believe the thought that it's not okay to feel that way, therefore I can't do the thing that it makes me feel that way when I think about doing it. So, for example, if it's sitting down to meditate, and it's like there's some feeling, and I don't quite catch it because immediately there's a thought that says, "Oh no, we can't meditate right now. We have to sub the insurance for the year." Like, oh yeah, that's right, we do, and then off I go. Um, but lately I've been catching it. Lately it's like I'm about to do the thing, I hear an excuse not to do it, and then I stop and I'm like, what is it that I'm feeling right now that I don't want to feel? And like right now, for some reason, it's like a thin band of pain going across my clavicles and down my arm a little bit. I don't even know what I'm reacting to. It's like the idea of sitting down dutifully and meditating tomorrow made that come up. I don't know. Uh, the reason I go to meditation retreats as often as I do is a big part because I'm just not good at doing. I mean, I'm not good at. I tend to react to feelings in my body and jump up off the cushion for one of 7,000 excuses when I try to do it on my own. Um, but yeah, it's just the stuff that's right at the surface. And when you threaten to quiet down, the system reacts like oh, you can feel some terrible stuff. You don't want to feel this terrible stuff. So here's a terrible feeling that'll make you not want to, that'll make you get up and avoid the terrible stuff, right? Now, I'm not a big proponent of like long term willpower because that tends to run out for exactly this reason is like that feeling in your body that says you don't want to feel something. And if you grow, if you change, if you're quiet, you might have to feel something that you don't want to feel. Right. But where I am right now, which is I've developed quite a lot of capacity uh, for tolerating discomfort, for tolerating like deep, deep discomfort, and for having perspective and equanimity in the face of it, uh, much more than before. So, but it still takes willpower sometimes not to revert to default conditioned activities that are not really what I want to do. I don't know. I'm listening to myself right now, and I'm like, it's so weird. I sound like a grown up. I'm getting used to even being able to think of myself as a real person and not just kind of like some joke with a mask on. And part of it kind of self reinforces the self image when I can't be disciplined in ways that I think I should or I think I would benefit from. So, first giving myself genuine grace, and then doing as much work as I could because it's not always going to be straight A prodigy fast, or straight A prodigy effort. Well, anyway, whatever. Like some people say prodigies don't make any effort, but point being, maybe not effort that, you think a dedicated person, a dedicated and serious person should do. Anyway, so orienting to, yeah, what's making me jump up? What's prodding me to not do the thing that I feel like I want to do? And it's good to discern between, I mean, it's not like, oh, I can never have ice cream again or whatever, like I have to be super disciplined. I'm not saying that. It's more like there are things that I believe would benefit me that I want to do that it's difficult for me to do because of this just lightning fast reflex followed by a plausible thought, and then I'm toast again. So now it's like, notice, where is that actual feeling? Because there's going to be a feeling probably on top that's like, don't even look here. Get the fuck off the whatever, whatever. Get out. Stop. Go. Do something else. Go back to your comforts. Go back to your security blanket. Um, which is usually something online, which is fine in reasonable doses, but not so much in excessive doses. Dose makes the poison, right? So there's probably gonna be the first layer that's like, "Don't even look here," and uh, it's very sharp, very quick, and it just right to the what I mean, it'll come up with anything. Has a vast repertoire to choose from. It has infinite capacity in a way. It's pretty cool. Mine is pretty cool, but, like I say, not a great master. Um, anyhow, so yeah, what is that feeling? And then under that feeling might be something that is quite actually difficult. And I did it the other day, engaging in something that normally is frightening for me and feeling what I felt. And what it felt like is my heart being flayed alive over and over and over again. And then at the end, when I got up and did something else, my heart still felt exactly like it did before. And I likened it to, when you eat Pringles, it doesn't matter how many Pringles you eat, you still see the same Pringle at the top, right? Um, and my heart feels like this like infinite canister of Pain Pringles that I have to keep eating and eating and eating and eating. Um, and I don't know where the bottom is. I don't know if there is a bottom, but yeah. I mean, what else can I do? So yeah, that was one thing. And then the title of the video, it's a big lie. So I've been thinking for a long time, I can't really be happy. I can't really find joy or happiness or freedom until I fix my heart. My sore little heart. Saying like, no matter what I do, this my heart like pins me to suffering. Um, and that was valid when it was valid. And I'm not going to blame or judge anyone who feels that way right now, that they're pinned by something that is preventing them from feeling happy. Because when you believe it, it's true. I mean, that's how it is. And getting around a deep belief like that is not simple. It's not easy. So, um, going around with your advice, just open up, just be free, just swim to the surface. It's right there. Sometimes it can be hurtful to hear that because it's just like somebody else saying like you're doing it wrong. It's easy. Like if you just do like me, it's like if it was easy, I'd do it. I wouldn't be having a hard time right now. So I definitely don't want to make it sound like I'm saying it's easy or straightforward or linear or even necessarily within our power because I feel like the last thing that dropped, the last several things that dropped, I'm not doing it. The best I can do is, I mean, join a meditation retreat, for example, where the fact that I paid for it kind of made me more disciplined. Um, and being as honest and, doing things that make you uncomfortable within reason and feeling, 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 feeling. And, eventually a peaceful little time will come, usually when I'm in bed or resting, when it'll just feel like you just kind of dissolve a little bit and turn off your will as much as you can, tune into your sensations as much as you can, and see what happens. And it's not up to you what happens. But yeah, the last thing that unhooked, I guess, I can't really explain what it is other than just some kind of limiting belief, something subtle. I mean, it had to do with I can't be happy until I fix my heart, till my heart's open or feels free and joyful. But something switched to where I was kind of at the mercy of whatever my heart decided to do, and I switched to a more embodied, fully embodied, like the whole room, so that my little heart is not sort of at the top pressing everything down, or even in the center holding everything, you know, dense. But it's just like there's all this space. And then, yeah, there's my little heart right in the middle, doing whatever it does, totally fine. And it's one thing to think or try to believe it's totally fine. It's another to, but with a subtle, when are you going to do what I want you to do? And getting genuinely to, that's a part of me here and now. Here and now is just exactly what here and now needs to be. And that's it. And it can even be kind of, I mean, the intensity of it can be also, I mean, sometimes, I couldn't really call it pleasure or pain. Sort of an everyday kind of not thinking about it much or just sort of barely tuning in. It just feels like a density. But that's what's happening right now. So, wishing it wasn't or hoping it won't is meaningless. There's just nothing, there's no utility to um, feeling anything about this feeling. The feeling is primary. That's it. It's you don't need to add extra stuff to it. So yeah, whatever your X is, whatever your blank is, whatever you think you can't be happy until you fix or change or do. Um, for a long time it was I can't be happy until I finish writing my first book. And then I finished writing my first book, and then it's like, well, I can't be happy until it sells X number of copies. It sold X number of copies. Well, yeah, but I can't really be happy until, and it just goes on and on and on. And probably nobody could have got me out of it. out of that endless cycle. Just like it's just a matter of practice and sort of pushing it, non-pushing, and then non-pushing it, non-pushing, if that even makes any sense. Practice and rest and practice and rest. And a lot of self-forgiveness and a lot of grace because whoever designed this experiment, I don't know. What can I say? It's pretty wild. It's a lot of things, and a lot of things I still probably don't know. But it's not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. Whether you're, still quite unawake or whatever, however you want to put it, doing your best in that situation without any apparent safety net, that's quite something. And the awakening process is quite something. And once you are, fully enlightened, whatever you want to call that, from what I understand, the price of staying there is eternal vigilance. Because, I mean, yeah, like you're always one thought away from losing whatever enlightenment you have. Like there's no enlightened retirement. You don't get to just declare yourself, a black belt in reality, and then just go around with wearing your belt and not doing anything. It's not like that. So um, yeah, I mean, I do hope at some juncture I'll have some insight into all of this, but not counting on it because there's certainly no guarantee of that. But it is quite an undertaking, and there is so much grace along the way. Like even more than I don't know, more than we can imagine. Even just washing my hands, I was feeling it today as kind of this wonderful. I mean, what a masterpiece. Soap suds and skin and cells and metal, a graceful metal spigot and water, much of which probably came from asteroids. Used to be dinosaur pee. I mean, you can look at it all, at all the levels, and you can also just look at it at the level of spectacle. And I mean, there's so many rich ways to appreciate this incarnation. And yeah, you know how when you get high or whatever, it's like, oh wow, man, my hands are so cool. But I think a lot of that is just getting back to that childlike, elemental, luminous wowness of just this variety of textures and patterns and colors. And I feel like joy is starting to sneak up on me. Just feel as much as I can and be as open and yielding as I can. With no idea who it's for, what it's for. Just the instinct of a seed trying to come out of the dirt. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But nothing else has worked. So take what's left. Try what's left.